Hi, everybody. It's so nice to be here with you again today. Um, I know I haven't been here for about a week and a half, maybe almost 2 weeks. I hope you've been well. Happy June, everybody. Um, Today, you may notice I'm wearing a t-shirt that says perfectly imperfect. And the reason I'm wearing this t-shirt is because it kind of has to deal with this lesson that I think is the most important lesson to teach children. It's a lesson that even we as adults need to know. Um, it's something that I had to learn in my adulthood. I wish I knew it younger. And when I realized it, I was like, I have to share this with as many kids as possible because it's when we don't know this information that we suffer and emotionally. And so this is one of the reasons I want to talk about this today. So today I'm going to actually be talking to you. It's a lesson from my Light Giver Stories workbook, and it's called The Most Important Secret. For those of you who have never seen me before, I've never heard of me before, my name is Peggy DeSoderatos, and I am a former teacher and the author of the Light Giver Stories and the Light Giver Stories workbook, which are stories and lessons to help raise emotionally healthy children. And one of the things I realized is that in order for kids to succeed in any area of their life, whether it be academically, whether it be socially, um, they have to have good emotional awareness. They have to be able to learn to manage their emotions better. And part of that comes with knowing who they are, having the self-esteem and knowing that they are enough. And that's basically what we're going to talk about today, the most important secret. And in my workbook, I say that the biggest secret is that you are perfectly made. Now, I know that for some of you that may sound a little odd, like, you're trying to tell people that we're perfect. No, I'll be the first one to tell you I am perfectly imperfect. But when I talk about being perfectly made, what I'm talking about is not that every person is perfect, but we are perfectly made for us to become the person that we are supposed to be in this world. To be perfectly made means that you have the abilities, the skills, the talents that you need to be the perfect version of you. See, what I failed to realize when I was younger, um, because what do we all tend to do, not just kids, but even adults, is we compare ourselves to other people. We look for the things that we do that may be difficult for us or things that we don't have gifting in. Um, and we have a tendency to harp on those things, to instead of focusing on all the wonderful things that make us up, our talents, our giftings, our personality. We find the one or two things that maybe we don't do well. And we start to feel bad about ourselves because of those. You know, the biggest thing that we do, the biggest mistake that we make is comparing ourselves to others or wishing somehow that we could be different or like somebody else. That is the worst thing that we can do. Um, it's more important that we learn to love, to appreciate who we are, um, and all the giftings that we have rather than focus on everybody else. The odd thing to do is that we sit there sometimes and we compare ourselves to other people and we say, why can't I have the gifting of this person? Like maybe they're a better student, or they have better jobs, or maybe they seem to have it all together, or maybe they're more gifted athletically or creatively than we are. And we wish that we had the talent of this person, the ability of that person. And what we fail to realize is that other people are probably looking at us, looking at some of the things that we're able to do and saying, wow, I wish I could do this like you or like that person. We're so busy looking at what we don't have, wondering or wishing that we could be what another person is or have the talents and giftings of another person, that we don't appreciate all the talents that we have. And the thing that I realized, and it took me into adulthood a little bit to learn this, is that even our weaknesses, even our flaws, they are part of who we are. They are part of the reason that we're here. We're meant to have weaknesses. We're meant to have flaws. There's a purpose behind it. And you say, wow, what purpose would there be for me to have all these flaws or to have these difficulties that we have? Well, for one thing, it teaches us humility, right? Um, could you imagine if we could do everything perfectly? How arrogant it might make us, right? We would never be turning to other people for help. We would never be looking at anybody else at their talents. Like if we could all sing like the greatest singer in the world, what would be the fun in that? I mean, yeah, it would be fun. I love to sing, but it would be no big deal. The talent, the gifting would be no big deal. If everybody was as gifted as an Olympic athlete, right? No need for competitions, no need for us to admire something different. It's not an accident, it's intentional that we have these weaknesses. Um, and I think that it would make a dramatic difference in the way that we work with other people. The other thing is, because we have these weaknesses, we learn to rely on each other, right? Um, my brother is brilliantly smart. He does math in his head like that. He spells wonderfully. I mean, he has like a million other giftings, but I'm just giving you a few examples. I happen to be the world's worst speller. And I thank goodness for a spell check. And but I have in the past, before spell check was around, I would rely on him, and I still do sometimes, to check something for me. Same thing with being out. If I don't have my phone now that I can just kind of do some calculations, he's like got it in his head, like, oh yeah, this is much a better deal than that one. Where it takes me a little bit longer. But then there I have other strengths that he doesn't have. And so we've always kind of helped balance it out. And that's the way it works in the world. Where we have a weakness, somebody else has a strength, and vice versa. So by having these weaknesses, we have an opportunity to help build relationships with other people. We have the ability to strengthen even the relationships with our family and friends. So having these imperfections not only strengthens our relationships, but it can also help us to be a little bit more accepting and sympathetic of others' weaknesses, right? I know that I struggle with certain things, so I can be compassionate when I see somebody else struggling with something. I may say, I may not struggle with the same thing, but boy, I struggle with this, so I know how you feel. Now, does that mean that we shouldn't keep trying to better ourselves at certain things that we have weaknesses? Absolutely. We should definitely try to do that. I'm not saying that, but we shouldn't beat ourselves up. I will never be an athlete. I will never be a supermodel. There's a lot of things that I will never be. And when I was a young child, when I would see these imperfections and weaknesses in me, I would feel bad about myself. What I didn't realize is that I had other things planted in me that were to serve me for the purpose that I needed to fulfill. So you may or may have not realized, I love to talk. And I love children. Children are my passion. So these giftings were exactly what I needed to go into my teaching degree, and exactly what I needed to build to prepare me to write children's books and learn to communicate to children in a different capacity, and even do this. So I have whatever I need for what I need to do, what I'm purposed to do. Um, and, you know, somebody else might be gifted in numbers, right? Maybe they would be an amazing accountant, or maybe they could use their skills in a profession that needs like statistics or stuff like that, right? I mean, I can add, I can subtract, I can do my basic math, but that's not where my gifting lies. And rather than feel bad about it, rather than complain about what I'm missing, I've learned to say that it's okay. I am perfectly made to be the best version of me, and that is enough. We need to stop comparing ourselves to other people. We need to stop complaining about the things that we can't do or things that we don't do well, and realize it's okay. They serve a purpose. See, I like to think of us as a puzzle piece, right? Each of us has its own unique shape and design on it, right? And when you look at one puzzle piece, you're like, yeah, okay. But when you take my puzzle piece and we combine it with your puzzle piece and his puzzle piece and her puzzle piece and everybody's puzzle pieces together, that's when we come together as a whole. That's where the beauty lies. The beauty lies in connecting with one another, helping one another, and coming together. And that's what it's about. So please, don't do it anymore. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. Don't berate yourself for your weaknesses. Of course, consistently try to be the best version of yourself. Of course, work on your weaknesses and try to become better. But don't beat yourself up. Be the best that you can be in everything, and that is more than enough. Um, I think that we have to realize that we are just one unique part of a whole. And when everything comes together, you'll see that those imperfections, they also are part of our beauty. So thank you. I hope that this helps you. I hope that it gives you a little bit of peace, so that the next time that you start to feel badly or berate yourself, or complain about yourself for your imperfections, you remember, I'm perfectly made to be the best possible me there is. And please, please pass this lesson along to children. They need to know it, because if they grow up knowing this truth, they're going to just end up being healthier children and healthier adults. So if you're interested, I give a very in-depth little conversation that you can have with your kids in my book, The Light Giver Stories Workbook. This is from lesson number 13, The Most Important Secret. This book includes lessons that are some that are regular lessons, some that are just discussions that you can have with your kids, and some fun activities to help raise emotionally healthy children into emotional healthy adults. I know that many of you are not professional educators, and that's fine. I really took that into mind when I created this book. I wanted it to be simple because not everybody has an education background or the experience that I have. I've had plenty of years teaching children in a variety of grades. I have a background in education. I've studied social emotional learning and character development at Rutgers. I wanted to make this as simple as possible. So you could literally read the few pages in here verbatim. If you'd like to get 2 free lessons from the Light Giver Stories workbook, or 2 free stories from the Light Giver and Other Stories to Raise Emotionally Healthy Children, you can go to my website, www.thelightgiverstories.com. You can get 2 free lessons and 2 free stories. Sorry. There you go. Perfectly imperfect. You can get 2 free lessons and stories right to you. This little pop-up window that comes. You just fill out your name and your email address, and I'll send that right out to you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're interested in finding more videos, or if you want to see some of the story readings I have or the lessons that I have from this book, from these 2 books, please go to my website, www.thelightgiverstories.com, or sign up for my YouTube page, The Light Giver Stories, or I also have a page on Rumble. Follow me on Facebook. And just wanted to remind you that a percentage of all book sales go to 2 children's hospitals, including St. Jude's, because my heart and my love is all about kids and making their lives a little bit better. And lastly, I just want to say, don't forget, everybody, to be a light giver. Share your light. Spread your light with everyone. Share your talents, your gifts, your kindness, your compassion, your love with other people. It is when we share our light with other people, when we share our gifts and talents and allow them to share their gifts and talents and love and kindness with us, that is when we are our best version of ourselves. That is when the puzzle pieces come together to create this beautiful picture. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I wish you a blessed day, a wonderful weekend, and I thank you for giving me the time to come into your home. Have a beautiful day, everybody. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.